come by to take your little sister out to celebrate?
Well, actually...
I have a class right now, but I can meet you someplace afterwards.
Donna, that's not why I'm here.
Oh. Why are you here?
I just needed something upstairs.
What's that?
That little tape recorder of mine?
It's on Katie's desk.
Thanks.
So, Mrs. Forrester to be, does it feel as good this morning as it did last night when you called?
Sure, it feels even better.
My sister marrying Ridge Forrester. June 16th?
Yep, that's the date.
Well, I'm gonna have the best time at that reception. I mean, there is gonna be a reception, isn't there?
Yes, of course there's going to be a reception. Why wouldn't there be?
Brooke.
I'm sorry.
What's the matter with you?
Ridge. He doesn't believe that I'm pregnant. That's what's the matter.
Honey?
What, Mother?
Was that Brooke I saw drive away a little while ago?
Yes.
She drove out of here like a bat out of hell. Did you two have an argument? Well, let it go, whatever it is. You know, you're just going to have a lot of these little arguments. It's the prerequisite of premarital jitters.
Thanks, I'll remember that.
Anything I can do to help?
No.
Honey, don't be rough on her. You know, when women get pregnant, it's all those hormones running loose in your system that make these mood swings. I remember when I was in my first trimester...
Mother, it wasn't Brooke. It was me. I started it.
Oh.
I questioned whether or not she was pregnant.
What?
Look, I know it sounds bad, but I did it. Damn it, I don't regret it either.
Why not?
Because she never answered me, and it's a question I need an answer for.
Well, why did you find it necessary to ask it in the first place?
Because I'm about to be married to a woman who claims to be carrying my child. I just want to make sure.
Do you have some reason for being unsure?
No.
But you're suspicious. I can hear this in your voice. Honey, these are unfounded suspicions, if you ask me.
Oh, you're siding with Logan now?
What's going on here? What's brought this on you? Oh, I see. It isn't what's brought it on, but who's brought it on. It's Caroline, isn't it?
Look, all right. Caroline mentioned something, but I had it on my mind for the last few weeks anyway.
Well, you didn't find it necessary to bring it up.
I would have eventually.
Listen to me. Caroline is interfering. She is married, and she has no right.
Look, damn it, Mother. This has nothing to do with Caroline.
I disagree. It has everything to do with Caroline. She's interfering, and she's wrong, and Brooke was absolutely right to storm out of here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, this is really lovely.
Yes. 2 bedrooms.
I noticed.
Of course, I can change all that.
We're here for business, not for pleasure. Remember?
Well, I take it that means that you're ready to start. All right, do you have his number?
Yes.
Let me give him a call and see if we can get him over here.
Caroline?
Stephanie, I would have thought you'd attract me.
I just talked to Ridge.
And he told you what I said to him last night. What, are you going to tell me to mind my own business?
I'm going to tell you I think you're wrong about Brooke.
I see.
You are.
You know, I don't think that you really believe that, because if you did, you'd probably have a little more fire in your attitude, and you'd probably want to throw me out of the house.
I do believe it.
I think you want to believe it. But you know Brooke just as well as I do. And I think the more you ponder it, the more you realize that it makes a lot of sense. Faking a pregnancy is the perfect way for her to hold on to a man who she felt was slipping through her fingers. Once she's comfortably married, she'll simply fake a miscarriage. It's the oldest trick in the book, but it is effective.
Caroline, she has been to the doctor. She's had the tests.
So she says.
You'll do anything you can to try and stop the marriage between these two.
I am simply pointing out the obvious, and I'm surprised you didn't think of it. Or did you?
I think she's pregnant. And whether she is or
And whether
not...
she is or not, what? Are you telling me that you would condone a marriage based on a deception?
Ridge is not available.
No, wait a minute. That's not the question here. The question is, if we found out that all along Brooke had been faking this pregnancy, would you still want them to get married?
That's his decision.
Well, indeed it is. And I think we all know exactly what he would decide.
You're wrong about Brooke's pregnancy.
Well, one thing is for certain. We're not going to grow old waiting to find out. I'll bet you anything in the world that she's going to lose this supposed baby the day after she and Ridge are married.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I don't believe it.
Well, it's the truth. Ridge thinks I'm lying about my pregnancy.
Why would he think that? It just doesn't make any sense.
His sister-in-law. She planted the idea.
Caroline.
The one and only.
Is she still giving you a hard time?
Donna, she'd do anything, and I mean anything, to prevent this marriage from happening.
The Ridge Forrester I know wouldn't believe that just because Caroline told him.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that if Ridge feels this way, then it's been bothering him for a while.
No, he would have said something.
Not if he's been fighting it.
Well, he isn't paranoid. Why would he think that I was lying?
I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
Look, I gotta go. There's somewhere where I'm supposed to be.
Brooke, what are you gonna do about this?
Don't you worry about it, Donna. I've got it all planned. I'll see you later.
Oh, I hope he didn't come here for nothing.
The man will show up, Margo. He said he would.
Oh, Bill, he didn't promise us anything.
All right. Call him again. This man's gonna tell me about Kristen's past, or I'm gonna end up throttling him. Come on, pick up the phone. Oh, this is great. Great, he's not home now.
Oh.
Damn it.
I'm Russ Tanner. You wanted to talk to me about Kristen?
Mr. Tanner, I really appreciate you coming to see us like this.
You're from an LA newspaper.
Yes, we're doing a feature on Kristen Forrester Garrison.
Seems strange that you'd come all the way out here just to see me.
Well, you were her closest friend in college.
That's doubtful.
Heavy on companions, light on confidants. Everyone wanted to call a friend. But Kristen claimed only one as her own, our own Russell Tanner. In the college yearbook.
Not always your best source of information.
Well, it's the only source of information that we have. After all, Kristen is and was a very private person.
Yes, that she certainly was.
And then you can tell us something about her past.
Look, a lot has happened since then. I imagine to both of us.
Well, why don't you sit down and tell us what you do remember? That will help us.
She was a good student. She was quiet, a great athlete.
We know all about that. You see, what we need is more background information about her personal life. You know, the kind of woman she was and who she socialized with.
Who she dated. Were the two of you romantically involved?
Us? No. Unfortunately, we were more like a brother and sister.
You weren't the one?
The one?
Our research tells us that she was very heavily involved with someone.
You're gonna write about that?
Only if it tells us about her character.
We are doing an in-depth piece on Kristen.
See, Mr. Tanner, we're professionals. We're not character assassins. And this is meant to be a very positive account of Mrs. Garrison.
So why don't you tell us everything you know about this man? The man that Kristen was in love with.
It's not going to work, Caroline.
You mind telling me what you're talking about, Brooke?
The number you're doing on Ridge?
Well, of course it isn't going to work because I'm not the one doing a number on Ridge. I simply made an observation.
You won't stop at anything, will you?
No, I won't. And you can count on that.
And yet, you're never going to have him.
Well, maybe not. But I would have had him. I would have had him if you hadn't intercepted that letter that he wrote to me before I married Thorne.
So this is my punishment, hmm?
Well, I suppose you can look at it that way. So what happened this morning, Brooke? Did you and your fiancé have a little tiff?
We'll iron it out.
That might be difficult.
You really don't believe I'm pregnant?
I don't see you proving me otherwise.
I don't have to prove it, Caroline. I know I'm pregnant.
Well, then you should be confident. And not so defensive. And flustered.
It wouldn't upset you if I did everything I possibly could to undermine your marriage.
Ah, yours is not a marriage yet. That's one thing you haven't pulled out of your hat, and I don't think you ever will, Brooke.
Is that all that you see in me? Manipulation? I am not a gold digger, Caroline. I love Ridge, and he just so happens to love me, too. So why don't you just back off and stay away from Ridge? Because if you don't, Caroline, so help me, we're gonna move out of that house so fast, your head will be spinning. Now, is that what you want, Caroline? Is it?
Mystery man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, of course you do. You must.
Mr. Tanner, are you telling us that you didn't know that Kristen was involved with anyone while she was in college?
Look, all I know is Kristen was very popular, but very private. I mean, sure, I talked with her from time to time, but she never confided in me about a man.
You weren't able to glean anything?
Not that I recall.
Well, think back. There must be something that you remember, a mood or an attitude, something that pointed to an involvement. Perhaps something that ended painfully.
Well... No, wait a minute. There was something that she mentioned, but it wasn't painful.
What was it?
Well, I saw her on campus one time. She was on her way to class, and I just stopped her and we had a very brief little conversation.
Well, what did you talk about?
As I recall, she was different than I had ever seen her, almost giddy. I remember I kidded her about it. And yes, she mentioned a man. I said something like he must be very special, and she got very serious and she said to me, like no other man in my life, or something like that. And then she had to go. I never saw her after that.
That was it.
You don't know how the relationship ended?
Nope. Look, there's really nothing else that I can tell you. Besides, I really have to get back to work.
Well, Russ, if you do think of anything, would you please call us here at the hotel? Huh? Thanks for coming.
Wait a minute. I do have one more question. Can you think of anyone who could possibly help us with any information about Kristen?
No. I assume that you did speak with her roommate.
What roommate?
Bonnie Blaisdell. Well, actually, her married name is Barrett.
Well, how do we get a hold of her?
I used to see her from time to time on campus. I think that her husband teaches in the anthropology department.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Tanner. I really appreciate your help.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ow! We are right on target.
Dead center.
You would love so desperately to have something to hold over me. Some threat. But you don't. Brooke, go ahead. Take Ridge out of that house. See if he'll go with you.
I am not going to waste my energy on you.
It's not good for the baby, right?
You're right. It certainly isn't.
You're cutting it a little close, aren't you, Brooke? I mean, June 16th? You really ought to be showing by then.
Really? Some women don't show till their 4th or 5th month.
You've done your research, I see. Just so long as you're married before you conveniently miscarry, right? When's it gonna happen, Brooke? When Ridge is at the office and the rest of us are out of the house? No evidence? Just a sad woman who spontaneously lost her baby. Oh, Ridge, darling, we can have another one. We can start trying right away. I know you're not pregnant, Brooke. I know exactly what you're up to.
I want you to listen to something, Caroline. Something that I taped today at my doctor's office.
Brooke, from all indications, your baby's doing just fine.
Then he's growing and developing, even though I'm not showing.
You are very pregnant, if that's your concern. And yes, the baby is developing routinely.
But why am I not getting any bigger?
Well, because you're lucky, Brooke. Some women don't get bigger until late in their pregnancy.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Madigan. That's all I wanted to know.
Sure.
And that is all that I wanted my future sister-in-law to know. So, what do you say about all that, Caroline?
Do you honestly expect me to believe that? Do you expect me to believe anything that you would tell me? I did that once. Remember? When we were best friends. I believed you, which is why I'm not married to Ridge today. So take your little tricks and get the hell out of my office. Get out!